On the therapeutic aspect, just the enjoyment factor. On the character building and character shaping through the skill mastery of drumming.
Exactly. That's why I want you on today. Precisely.
It can help you self-realize your highest potential. And what a cool way to become the best version of yourself with drumming. Like, out of all the ways you could do it.
Oh yeah, like what's more fun? It's an obsession. It's like, oh yeah, and there's all these incredible benefits that that's one thing drummers we all share is we say, you don't choose the drums choose you. Hi, this is Chris Lesso. Welcome to Life Through Rhythm, the LTR Drumming podcast. And we have a fantastic guest, Brendan Fox. He's one of the leading global experts on health, vitality, exercise, fitness. He's got a degree in kinesiology. He coaches Olympic athletes to be at their best. We are fired up to have Brendan Fox to help us on the drums because drumming demands so much from us. We are athletes. And I also believe we're athletes in life, in everything we do and everything life needs for us to be at our best. And drumming is coordination, drumming is breathing, drumming is mindset, drumming is energy, drumming is refueling. There's so much here that correlates with a pro athlete mindset. So that's why we have Brendan on to really help us as drummers become at our best. So we're gonna get into it today. Now, we're gonna go at this with a pro athlete mindset. Now, whether the word pro, whether you make money at drums or not, it doesn't matter. What we do here is come at drumming to become our best selves through working at the kit and in everything we do. So that's maximum confidence, that's maximum mindset, that's maximum emotion to just be at our best through this awesome instrument that we get to do called drumming. So we're gonna become better at drumming through learning from people beyond just the drumming world. And that's why we have Brendan on. And we're gonna approach this with a pro mindset, just have a high standard to become a world-class version of ourselves. That's what this is all about. We all have different goals. We all have a vision. Whether you're playing alone in your basement, living the benefits of playing to your favorite music, or you're trying to get stage ready, touring the world, playing some of the biggest stages, we all have to approach drumming and our lives with a pro athlete mindset. So that's what Brendan's gonna help us with today. And we're gonna discover the 6 filters, and that's what we train with in the Life Through Rhythm community, this global collective of drummers from around the world. You can join the global drumming movement today with your free intro training at chrislesso.com. That's chrislesso.com to get your free intro package training to get you to your next level at drumming in record time today. What we train is these 6 filters, and the filters delete anything in the way of us from becoming our absolute best when we drum and in everything we do. So if you think of a car accelerating, going 0 to 60, if it's not strong, if it can't handle that acceleration, it's gonna fall apart and it's gonna crash. So these 6 components have to be there for everything that drumming demands from us. Drumming is like a force that just demands coordination, demands instant quick thinking. It demands us to get into flow and to be at our absolute best so we can create, so we can have fun, and so we can deliver when it counts. Drumming is no joke, and so we gotta have all these components here. So we got Brendan Fox to help us out. Enjoy this one. You're gonna be filled with positive energy, knowledge, and just day-to-day habits and rituals to become a better version of you through drumming and in everything you aspire to.
Some fitness tips from an Olympic caliber trainer.
Brendan J. Fox is back. You are a professional fitness trainer to the Olympic athletes and to all of us.
Being able to do things with me and our team more than anyone I've ever worked with. So he is a game changer. He gets you over the edge. If you're missing that certain something, if you really want to to become the best version of yourself, Brendan Fox is the man.
We are live with Brendan Fox, and I'm so excited and happy you're here, Brendan. Thank you so much for being here today.
It is an honor and a pleasure. We're going to have an awesome time today. Looking forward to it. Been looking forward to this call, brother.
We're talking about shaving techniques and, before we're live here. So that's just how it is. It's good.
We were justifying our lack of creativity in hairstyle, and we were... and the fact we're saving a few cents on shampoo each month, and we make everyone else look good by having a lack of hair.
Ball drummers are the best, man. And fitness and health, just expert. Brendan, I know your whole life is dedicated to this, and health and drumming are just so connected. And we'll talk today about just the health and wellness and just emotional awesomeness and just how this translates to drums, and the opposite, like how drums elevates our health and energy. And you, as being outside of drums, like I don't think you actually play, right? Like your art form is not behind the kit, right? You have some friends that are drummers, but
yes, I've worked with drummers. I have friends I'm a drummer appreciator.
Exactly.
Okay? I'm a fan of drummers. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for it on many different levels, on the therapeutic aspect, just the enjoyment factor, on the character building and character shaping through the skill mastery of drumming.
Exactly. That's why I want you on today. Precisely.
It can help you self-realize your highest potential. And what a cool way to become the best version of yourself with drumming. Like, out of all the ways you could do it.
Oh yeah, like what's more fun? It's an obsession. It's like, oh yeah, and there's all these incredible benefits that that's one thing drummers we all share is we say you don't choose the drums choose you. It's just something in you that has to come out. And you're right, if you know how to use it the right way, it can make you the best version of yourself. So, and what I like to say is in the life through rhythm lens and way of looking at life is like you master one discipline by going outside it. So what I mean by that is for us as drummers to become the best we can be, we can learn from pro athletes, Navy SEALs, artists, just like mechanics, just like master chefs, just you name it, anybody that will help us behind the kit. So it's not just drummers we can learn from. It's often the people outside that have the best perspective. That's exactly why I wanted to have you on today. So
there's something timeless and classic to it too, because whatever your pursuit is in life, we all have the same internal challenges. We all have the same opponents you're facing on the inside. Sometimes we're struggling with self-doubt. Sometimes we might be struggling with laziness or confusion, and bringing in, the analogies and approaches from all these various avenues in life can give us inspiration and ideas on how to win those inner battles in our own chosen journey, right?
Yeah, like we had a Navy SEAL on, and first thing he said was like, man, I got it. Or actually after the session, he goes, Chris, I got to tell you, it was a little weird getting a message from a drummer, but he's like, now I get it. Like facing just what you just said, like facing fear, dealing with anxiety, self-mastery, right? And he's like, I get how that translates onto the drums and battling these demons like daily and letting the best parts of ourselves become victorious, right? So, and we are who we surround ourselves in our world. And that's why, man, I'm so grateful to meet you and know you. And that's why I wanted to bring you into the LTR universe. So super quick background, Brendan. We got a lot of cool stuff to cover today, but just on your background for people that don't know you, kinesiology, which is in the body and health and fitness, becoming your best mentally and physically. We could see how this brings us out on the kit, right? So just quick background on you.
Yeah, so my background is I initially went to school to become a kinesiologist. And then after that, I went and did 30 different certifications in all areas of health and nutrition and therapy and everything else. And I started working with pro and Olympic athletes, pro football players, pro hockey players. Some of my clients won Olympic gold medals. So I've been coaching athletes at the highest level of human performance. And I was also running a team. I helped build a team up to 48 trainers and kinesiologists downtown Toronto. And After that, I've progressed into also doing life coaching, is another mental toughness coaching specifically, because a lot of the athletes I was working with, their biggest opportunity for improvement was not physical and technical. It was always mental. And so we had to work on mental fitness more than anything. And a while back, I was on TSN. One of the athletes I had a breakout season for the Argonauts, and he was crediting the mental toughness work we did. And TSN did a special on it there, and that helped pick up the mental toughness coaching aspect of my business, which I keep busy with now. And so those are some of the different skills and experiences I bring to the table to help out all the drummers here today.
And we're blessed to have you. And I love that part of it. I put out this blog once, and the title I gave it, Brendan, was drumming is 99% mental, 1% physical. I don't know if that's like,
you know what? I respectfully, I agree to disagree. I think it's 99.5% mental. Okay, we can have our differences, all right? Like, I get you.
Precisely, right? Because
I respect you, man.
Yeah, because drumming is so, I'm picking up the sticks, I'm hitting, my feet are going, and I'm sweating and stuff, and of course it's so physical, but how much the mental part affects it. Yeah. That's why I thought, man, it kind of I know how physical it is, but man, like mindset and I was just, my daughter's 8, and she was asking about like your subconscious mind versus your conscious, and I was trying to put that into 8-year-old terms and stuff, and just how you're kind of programming your mindset, visualization, what you choose to think about, your inner dialogue, and how you choose to look at challenges. Man, does that sound like drumming? Like, heck yeah, right?
I would submit we could boil it down to, you need to have mental, emotional, and spiritual harmony to have physical harmony. Because if you don't have those things, it's going to impair your ability to recover and heal. You might get repetitive stress injuries. It's going to impair your immune system. If you have a habit of self-rejection and you're always being too hard on yourself, it's going to beat up your immune system. You're going to get sick, right? It's going to compromise your sleep, your metabolism, and your overall enjoyment of life. So I'm a big fan of taking it more holistic and being like, okay, what other dimensions of your life can we harmonize here, the mental, emotional, spiritual, so that you can be at your best for drumming?
Yeah, that's exactly Life Through Rhythm. LTR drumming is like, we work on us as people, so the drumming comes alive, and we use the drumming to become our best selves in the process, and how connected that is, right? So,
and I have to say, I respect that so much. When I first met you and you told me about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like enlightened drumming coaching. Like, this is drumming coaching. Like, this is amazing, because the work you're doing is so much deeper than, it's more than just the sticks and the cymbals. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're getting to the core of the human experience, which I respect.
I love it. And you as an Olympic trainer working with all these athletes, Brendan, I can imagine it's kind of the same, right? Like you're a skier, you're a basketball player. Okay, let's go to you, the person, let's go a little deeper. And then it kind of takes care of the performance in the process. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So cool. So I want to bounce this idea off you or this concept, get your expert take on this, Brendan. That's a big reason why I was really excited to have you on today. So I have this thing in my book called the 6 filters, okay? Like the pro athlete protocol, the 6 filters. And the concept is the lowest you score in any of these 6 areas will be how high you can reach on the drums and in life, okay? And I'll go through these 6 areas, and I'd love your...
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, just your feedback and anything we can learn from you in these 6 areas, because of course, I'm a drummer, and this is kind of my world here, but that's why we bring on all these experts like you and just people in different fields to help round out our experience because I only know so much about these things. So
hey man, the universe is infinite, and so is my ignorance, but I'll do my best.
I love it. Oh, mine is too.
Always more to learn.
Awesome, man. So the 6 filters, as I call them, and that's like, we got to filter our performance through these to just, if we're, forget drumming, like if we're going to even have these goals in drumming in life, like we got to have these 6 at least a baseline level. So let me go through the six here. The first one is, well, I'll tell you all six at first, and then we'll go through one at a time. So renewal, refuel, move, community, gratitude, and mindfulness. And the concept is, let's say, like I know where mine is, I'll tell you which area I'm weak in, right? So I might score 9 out of 10 in 5 of those areas, but where I tend to, cram my day with a lot of stuff, my sleep might get, and I work on it. I have pretty good sleep, but that's where, I go late and I got to get up early, and that's where I might score the lowest. So just as an example, like if my sleep and my recovery and my renewal, like to become new again, renew, if that's really weak, my drumming's going to suffer, my mood is going to suffer, my just outlook is going to suffer. And then just forget drumming goals, just everything's going to kind of crash. So that's the idea. There's these 6 filters, and even one of them can tear down the whole castle, right? So yeah, so that's the 6. So first one, renewal. That doesn't necessarily just mean sleep, Brandon, but it's like, a walk in the forest, turning off the phone, and maybe reading a book, just something that renews your soul. So what does that mean to you, and anything you can offer on having worked with your expert clients on renewal?
Yes. With renewal, the root cause, in my experience, so I've done over 30,000 hours of coaching right now, and that this comes down to what you're doing with your time, which is really a function of your priorities in life. Now, as a drill, just to see, because whenever I've done this with people who weren't renewing themselves, I found that they needed to have a priorities revolution. They needed to re-examine their life priorities. So all of you can do this right now, but one of the things you can do is just like a practical drill here is just write down one-word answers on what your top 5 priorities in life have been. Now, this could be things like comfort, success, safety, family, romantic connection, someone else's happiness, financial success, right? Whatever it is, write down what your 5 are right now. This is a recipe that you live your life by. And if you write down those 5 and you're not renewing yourself, I would probably question whether or not you actually put your happiness on your top 5 list. Because there is nothing that'll renew you more than prioritizing happiness. And I would encourage people to actually see the value of, once you prioritize your happiness, you do everything else better. You relate to your family better. You do better at work. You're renewing yourself constantly, because too often, I believe we're all here for 2 things. We're here ultimately in this human experience for our education and our entertainment. And too often we forget the entertainment piece, maybe not the drumming community, but too often the rest of us might forget it. And that's what depletes us. And just like a phone, if you have a cell phone and it's running on 5% battery, it doesn't work so well. You're not going to drum as well. So what we need to do is we need to prioritize going out for a nature walk and feeding the chickadees, if that's what renews you. Going on a date night once a week with your wife. A lot of times with pro athletes, it sounds ridiculous. I get them dating their wives again. Every day. I say, you know what? Don't let life get too busy that you forget that. But it comes down to, let's revisit your top 5 priorities in life. You probably need a priorities revolution if we're having issues with renewal.
I love it. Yeah. And it was put to me, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Like, it's, these, like going on a date night, going on a forest walk. Sometimes we think of these things as like, when I have time, I'll do that. That would be nice. But it's like, no, like make the time for this, make it a priority. So I love that. Yeah. And what's the biggest challenge you see with your clients with renewal? Is it sleep? Is it just like, probably we're so hard on ourselves as drummers, right? We're in our heads. We're, anxiety is a,
yes. I think, I would say it's this. I'd say, a lot of times people talk about a cleanse, like a juice cleanse or a gluten cleanse. And I think the first thing we need to start with is a self-concept cleanse. We need to purify the way we look at ourselves. Everybody needs to see their own innocence. Everybody's being too hard on themselves. True or false? You have always been doing the best you could with what you knew. And if you knew better, you would have done better. It's true, because your behavior shows the final vote. It might be a split decision, like, no, I kind of knew I should do this instead, but I did that. Well, that's where your majority vote lied. So I'd begin with a self-concept cleanse. I'd begin with, asking somebody, answer the first thing that bubbles out of your brain. What has to happen for you to accept yourself? And people will say things like, everything has to be perfect. Other people have to like and respect me. Horrible rules, very toxic for self-concept. A better thing would be to just remember that you're a highly capable learner with high potential. Yeah. Or remember all the good you've done in your life and just know that you're still capable of more good, or that your problem is your potential is bigger than your problems and your life is divinely guided. We need to have an upgrade on how you regard yourself, because how you regard yourself is so central to your reality, and it'll drain you 24/7 if you have a habit of self-rejection and self-neglect. So I'd start right there, because that's often what's depleting somebody is, we can get sleep, we can get healthy food in, but if you're beating yourself up on the inside all day long, that's the battle people don't see that might be depleting you so you don't feel renewed. That would be the most common one I've seen in my coaching experience.
Powerful. Yeah. And two pillars we work on here is don't compete, create, and knowing your persona on the drums, which is often like what you're not, being comfortable with deleting from your life what isn't essential, what is unessential, and just growing you and speaking your voice on the drums and just creating that space. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. And so I would dial that down to simple living and high thinking. Let's focus on moving you towards simple living and high thinking. Yeah. Let's remove all the unnecessary necessities in your life. That quote, that's not me. That's Paramahansa Yogananda said that. George Harrison was a huge fan of Yogananda. He's on the front of the Sgt. Pepper's album, the Indian Saint. But yeah, he said that was one of the keys to success in life.
Can you say that again? So simple thinking.
Simple living plus high thinking.
Is your drumming lacking flow? Maybe getting around the kit? Maybe you're overthinking too much? Maybe you're a little tense in your technique? Maybe you don't feel as centered or as confident as you like when you drum? I get it. This is about flow. And flow is that magical place drumming brings us to, where time disappears, your inner critic shuts down, and drumming is energizing and fun like it's meant to be. On my journeys of drumming around the world, I've learned so much about how to get into flow in my drumming. So that's why I put together this 3-step flow guide that'll help you get in more flow out of your drumming and get to that energized, fun place like drumming was meant to be. So go to chrislesso.net/drumflow. That's chrislesso.net/drumflow for your free 3-step flow guide to get more flow out of your drumming. So let's become our best selves through drumming. I'll see you on the inside. Next one is refuel. And refuel is what we put in our body, but also our minds. I notice I always feel worse scrolling through social media. When I'm done, I'm like, man, I feel a little more depleted than, maybe that wasn't the best way to refuel. But this is clean water. This is clean food. Us as drummers are definitely athletes, and I believe we're all athletes of life. But it can also be like what you're putting into your mind through media, what you're putting in through experiences. Just talk to me quick about refueling.
Yeah. So I mean, on a very basic level, I try to create healthy detachment to the body vehicle. I don't want any of my clients identifying their true self as the body, because the body is in a state of aging, decay, and it'll only mean ongoing existential dread for you. So we don't want to be over-identified with the body vehicle. There was a great saint once, Francis of Assisi, and he referred to his body as Brother Donkey. And so that's what I do. I'll tell my wife, I need to go, Brother Donkey needs some exercise, right? So I have healthy detachment. So treating it like a body vehicle, obviously you want to give it the vehicle maintenance in order to carry out your very important life mission. Now, I found that when it comes to actually doing proper body vehicle maintenance, when people are not taking care of their body, the root cause is a lack of a clear and compelling life mission. When I dial it back, I just tell them, well, what's the whole purpose of your life? And they can't come up with anything motivating. So it's like, yeah, of course. Why care about what fuel you're putting in your body and what exercise you're doing? There was Dr. Viktor Frankl. He went into the Auschwitz Nazi concentration camp, a doctor of psychology. He had everything taken away, family, job, everything. And when he was in the concentration camp, he found that some people would fight for their life with everything they had. Some people would just give up and let themselves be killed. And he's like, what makes the difference? Like, some people take care of themselves and some people don't. So he interviewed the other people in the concentration camp in Auschwitz. And he found that it wasn't age or fitness or anything else. It was clarity of life purpose that actually gave people the prerequisite motivation to take care of themselves. So what I'll do with clients is if I blitz them on what's your life mission, because if you don't have a very important life mission, you're not going to prioritize getting your body vehicle to take you the distance. I'll get them to focus on who are you here to love and care for, pets, family, friends, what experiences do you want to have? What do you want to learn? What do you want to see? What do you want to do? What do you want to experience? And how do you want to leave this world an even better place? What's your legacy going to be? So I boil it down to the 3 L's because I find it's not a lack of knowledge when it comes to refueling. It's a lack of motivation more than anything in my professional experience. I thought it was like, maybe people just don't know the difference between good and bad nutrition or anything else, right? So I think that's where I tend to go with this as a coach. And then the other thing is monitoring the mental diet, as you mentioned. Like, a lot of people say you are what you eat. And I would submit, well, you also are what you think. So if you're watching scary horror movies that are freaking you out and raising your cortisol, and you're getting sick, there's a connection between this stuff, between watching the news and it fueling your fears, your subconscious fears. Right. Why are you feeding fear by watching the news and everything else? So we need to have the same level of discernment on our mental diet. And I would also submit the same level of discernment on our social diet.
I like what you said there, fueling fears, what we fuel, the courage wolf and the fear wolf, who wins.
Yeah.
Feed, right? Yeah. And I like you, when you said donkey, it made me laugh and it made me think humor. I learned this from a lot of my mentors, humor is such a great way that I use to refuel and just keeping our sense of humor, in drumming or just in life. So when you said donkey, it made me laugh and it made me think.
I think it's important. I think people get too life obsessed.
Yeah.
Right? We need to remember, none of us are getting out of here alive. Let's have some jokes about it.
Exactly.
While we're here,
Yeah. I love it. Now, next one, kind of obvious, but move, as drummers, of course, but now this is, we're so hard on ourselves with there's so many exercise regimen. I think we're overloaded with this and maybe the shaming and the pressure we put on ourselves, but just move. To me, it's as simple as the Japanese concept of forest bathing, right? Man, just once a day, go for a walk in the forest. You're good. Stretch, deep breaths, breathing is a big part of the what we do with the drumming training here, but just any thoughts on move?
Yeah, I mean, movement is medicine. We all know that, right? Yes. And then I would say when I'm approaching athletes, I always take a look at doing movements that counter the postural derangements created by your primary movement. So let me just say that in English. In drumming, we're very much using the front of the body. We're slouched forward, head is forward. So what I would do is a cool down to prevent pinching on the nerves and prevent injuries is do an exercise like a wall lean, which helps to correct head forward posture and straighten up the spine. It's where you hold yourself up with the back of your head, leaning against the wall, and it's just the back of your head on the wall and your heels, your feet are about a foot forward in front of the wall, and you hold that position for 3 minutes, the perfect drill for drummers to cool down with, because as you keep moving in this direction, it's great, but there's an imbalance. And so what happens over time is people develop postural imbalances, and then the joints in the body aren't lining up. We get grinding, aggravation, aches and pains, and everything else. So I think it's important to have some postural correctives mixed in once we identify the tendencies of our movement patterns.
I like that, Brendan. And it's really what I'm hearing you say is make your exercise complement what you're actually doing. I've some people say, oh, should I lift a bunch of weights and then hit the kit? It's well, that's actually gonna get in the way of your playing. So I like what you said there about recovery and cool down as well. So that's excellent. So next one is community. And I saw this one study, Brendan, where it was like they did some studies on what impacted health, and it was like horrible diet, smoking versus like not being isolated and tapping into a positive community. And that actually was found to have a little bit more of an impact than eating horrible food and smoking. So just think, like, if you got someone that's, just isolated and eating horribly and smoking, it's like, well, if we're gonna start with one thing, you would think I would have thought it would kind of be the horrible smoking and diet, but it's actually like, that just shows how important community is. So, and that's what we do here with drummers. I believe surrounding yourself with amazing people is just an incredible effect. But yeah, just quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, community is the number one thing. So I think, I applaud all of you who are here today on this call, because in my opinion, this is the most important thing, because you're going to go so much further and become a better version of yourself when you surround yourself with those who can see the best in you and uplift you. And I'll give you a little bit of a story that I use often in my coaching. So at one point, there was this little boy, and his dad gave him a rough, unpolished diamond, okay? And he said, I want you to go visit the baker and ask him how much money he will give you for this raw, unpolished diamond. So the little boy goes down to the bakery. He shows it to the baker, and the baker's like, what is this? It's a rock. I don't really care about rocks. I'm a baker. I'll give you $1 for it. So the boy goes back to his dad, and the dad's like, okay, I want you to take this unpolished diamond to the antique dealer. See how much money he'll give you for it. So the antique dealer looks at it. He's like, okay, it's some sort of a gemstone. I'm not sure what it is. I know it has some value. I'll give you $10 for it. Okay. So then the boy goes back to his dad, and the dad's like, okay, I want you to take it to the gemologist now. Ask the gemologist how much money he'll give you for this. So the boy takes the raw, unpolished diamond to the gemologist, and the gemologist is like, oh my goodness, this is a raw, unpolished diamond. It has brilliant potential. I will give you $20,000 right now for this. Okay. Now, the point of this story is that a lot of people in our lives are bakers. They don't have the skill to see your value, and they will hold you back. And it's a skill issue. Okay. Some people in life are the antique dealers. They can see some of your value. And then the other group are the gemologists. The most important decision you can make in your life is to identify and spend time with the gemologists. They see your highest potential when you don't even see it. They can encourage you and uplift you and help bring you to that next level. It is one of the greatest acts of self-respect and self-love. Identify the gemologists in your life and surround yourself with them as much as you can. Stay away from the bakers. Keep a healthy distance. It really comes down, and everything else will take care of itself. Environment is stronger than willpower alone. We need to put ourselves in the right environments, an environment of gemologists, and that will take care of everything. You'll get the wisdom you need. You'll get the support you'll need, the inspiration. Everything else will trickle down from there, if you ask me.
That's incredible. I love what you said there about someone seeing more potential in you that maybe even you can see. And I know that's happened in my life, where my mentors and, they saw potential. Maybe I didn't even believe it at that time. And I've heard comedians say that and athletes say that in any field. And so we have that power to surround ourselves with people.
Absolutely. And the way to be a gemologist, and you would know this as a coach, is it's to look at the people you're working with and imagine their highest potential. And I do this for everybody. And for me, I would think with Chris, I'd say, okay, here's Chris. He's got great potential. He's actualizing right now. He's got a thirst for wisdom, a never-ending learner here. He's surrounding himself with great people, creating a great movement. But you know what? He is not limited by potential. He is limited by time in this incarnation. Because if you had an eternity, you could probably study rocket science. You could probably become a successful politician, a successful handyman. You could learn every language there is to learn. If you had eternity, your potential could unfold in infinite ways, and you probably don't look at yourself like that. Yeah, in this lifetime, you're the drumming coach and probably a lot of other great things, but there is so much more above and beyond that in which you could master. You're not limited by potential, you're limited by lifetime right now.
And that goes back to the 99.99% mental, right? Yeah, just
Okay.
sometimes just believing it is like, and seeing the possibility. It's like once that door opens, it never closes. That's so powerful. So next one is gratitude, and many of us have probably heard some of the studies on this, and I have, to me, it's the most powerful things you can do are the consistent things. So I have a little gratitude practice I do in the morning, a little one I do at night. Some of you may have heard these said before. It's like, just write three things you're grateful for in the day, just small things before you go to bed, the type of thing. To me, it also means like gratitude is overcoming the negativity bias. And negativity bias just means that there's a survival mechanism in our brains that tends to sit in the negative, right? So we play, a great hour performance on the drums, and what's the one thing you think about is, man, I missed that one fill, right? Our mind just tend to go to the negative, especially with the pressure that we put on ourselves as drummers and athletes and artists. So just a quick viewpoint on gratitude.
Yes, it's much more relevant than you think. Much more relevant than you think. And so let me give you a quick little story here. Imagine that you are going, on all of you listening in, imagine that you got set up with a meeting with the ultimate drum coach ever. Okay, like the Gandalf, real life Yoda, Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda, like drumming coach, enlightened drumming coach, okay? And he's going to solve all your life problems and make you the best drummer ever. Okay, imagine you show up. And he says, okay, before we begin, I need you see all this junk in the corner of my yard? I want you to move it to the far end of the property. It's going to take you all day. I'll meet you here tomorrow morning. Okay. Now, in that moment, you're seeing it's like broken down appliances, old car parts, like bricks and chunks of wood. What might you be thinking as you're hauling all of that junk material to the far end of the property all day and the sun's beating down on you? Right? You might be tempted to think, this is pointless. This sucks. Is this a scam? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then imagine the next day you show up and he says, okay, I need you to move all the junk right back to the original spot you got it from. Okay. It's going to take you all day. I'll meet you here tomorrow. Now what thoughts are going through your mind? We might be tempted.
A lot of negative thoughts.
Yes. Yeah. And then imagine this goes on for the next few days. Okay. And then the morning after all that, this enlightened Gandalf drumming coach says to you, why do you ever pick up the drumsticks and play if you're just going to put them back down again? What's the point? Why even do it in the first place? Right? It's similar to the junk pile drill. It's not what's going on outside of you that matters. It's always what's going on inside of you. And the purpose with this junk pile drill is that frustration is the curriculum, and we need to bring those frustrated thoughts to the surface so we can recognize they're there, so we can transcend them. Yeah. So if somebody has a thought come up like, oh, this sucks, I hate this is stupid, what a scam. Well, that means that we have an opportunity to learn open-mindedness. And so a good question to train yourself to ask yourself in any situation is, what's good about this? What can be learned? Yeah. Right. I might say, oh, this is great. I'm carrying all this equipment. I'm getting exercise in. I'm getting farmer carries in. What can be, I don't know why he's got me doing this, which is great because it means I'm going to learn a powerful lesson here. Or while I'm doing this, I can write a hit song in my head, now that I'm taken out of my normal routine. Right. And then if you never question your own thoughts that are going through your head during this drill, it means that you're prone to problem-focused thinking. And we need to shift to being more solution-focused. So then I would always encourage you to ask yourself, how can I make it better? Right? And so the key with this is that whenever we're having those moments that are bringing us down to that less resourceful, less optimal state, whenever you're experiencing a suffering emotion, you should just train yourself to ask yourself, what's good about this? What can be learned? How can I make it better? And those three questions will help bring out your best self. Because now you can think critically about your situation once you recognize there's some good in it. You can learn from your situation and you can get solution focused, right? So this is kind of like, to show us the opportunity for improvement with this. But imagine this, imagine you were 10 times more grateful for everything that's already in your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Imagine you were 10 times more grateful for everything that's already in your life. How much better would life be?
Yeah.
The most amazing life is already here if we can develop the eyes to see it, right? And what's the point in being blessed with more if we don't appreciate the blessings we already have? I think we should be at war with ingratitude, literally. I think, and every day I will tell people, if they ask me what my biggest character weakness is, I will say ingratitude. And they'll say, but you seem like such a grateful person. I'm like, I don't have the capacity to be grateful for everything I should be grateful for in my life.
Wow.
Like I cut myself, it heals up. I didn't do it. It was no skill of my own. I eat a cheese sandwich. It's no skill of my own that divides the nutrients and sends them to the body parts that are doing it. I wake up in the morning, I go to the bathroom, like I'm grateful for the fact that there was something working through me, like a faithful housekeeper clearing up toxins so I don't over poison myself. Like there's so many forces, wise, loving forces working in my life that I could be grateful for if I only paid more attention. And gratitude is the fastest path to happiness. And I think we do all things better when we're happier. So I think it just makes sense with this category here, for sure.
That's so powerful. And I mean, that's in our power always to shift that view, just like moving all that junk one spot to the other. How we see it is always in our power, where the obstacle becomes the fuel and the way forward. Whether you're brand new to open-handed drumming or you've been playing for years and want to take your game to a new level, I put together a great guide for you. You can get it for free at chrislesso.com/OHD. chrislesso.com/OHD. And of course, that stands for open-handed drumming. And this will be a gateway into your next level of excellence on the drums and in life. So my name is Chris Lesso. Subscribe to the channel, connect with me at chrislesso.com, and let me know how you're doing. Let me know how open-handed drumming has impacted your weaker side, your creativity, and your ultimate confidence in drumming and in everything you do. Last one, Brendan, is mindfulness. And to me, this just means like space. Mindfulness could be meditating. Drumming is a meditation. I think all of us feel that, but mindfulness to me, it's slowing down to speed up. It's creating space. It could be meditation, but it could be riding your bike on a forest trail. It could be just getting a view from above, as it were, just seeing things from a different perspective. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So when I think mindfulness, I think of awareness, like self-introspection, self-study. So I'd encourage everybody, imagine your life like you're living in a movie. Every morning you wake up, the hero wakes up. And when you get to the end of your day, I want you to review it, replay the day like a movie. What did I like about today? That helps build gratitude. Where could I be better? Were my thoughts right? Were my moods right? Were my actions right? And then maybe ask, how would my best self view and respond to these situations in future? There was a famous saint, Ignatius of Loyola. He developed this concept called the examines, where you would do this at the end of every day to develop mindfulness and awareness. And you put a little tick every day that you do something you're trying to change. And I think that can be a very powerful drill to just examine ourselves daily and then self-correct. But I would also take it a step further. I would also say this. I would also say, imagine having your own mastermind, like 5 people in all of human history that you admire most, whether it's a motivational coach, a political leader, a spiritual teacher, a scientist. What questions would they ask you at the end of each day? Einstein might say, hey, Chris, can you invent a better way to do things? Jesus might say, did you try to love everybody no matter what? Somebody like Bruce Lee might say, did you adapt and flow with life like water? So I'd say, and you get into the Stoics, Socrates might say, have you questioned your assumptions and beliefs? I'd encourage you to put together your own drumming mastermind of the 5 most influential people in all of human history ever, your own all-star team. What 5 questions would they ask you at the end of each day? And those questions will shape you into that kind of person that you're here to be. So the idea is just decide who you want to be and stay on script. And you need to check in with yourself with a process of self-examination or self-introspection. And I think that's the key to really living an aware life, because most people live like donkeys or robots, just keep doing the same thing in and out with, we think 60,000 thoughts a day, and about 95% of those thoughts are the same as the day before, right? So we really need to break out of some of these patterns, but the key is awareness, and awareness itself can have a curative effect.
Outstanding. I love the awareness part of it, and just and asking better questions. I think our lives are the quality of the questions, right? And just see what comes up to the surface. So thanks, Brandon. So that's the 6: renew, refuel, move, community, gratitude, and mindfulness. So
love it.
It's been a blessing to hear your feedback on that, and how you've impacted your clients and what you've learned. So thank you. We just got a couple minutes for questions, but I want to open it up to just anybody that wants to ask Brendan a question. So just unmute yourself and start. And anybody that wants to go next, just put it in the chat and we'll get to it. So who wants to go first? Lucas, you got your hand up. Go for it.
When you were mentioning like Master Oogway and those other masters, it made me think of like the scene in Karate Kid, like either the original or the Jane Smith one. It's like
me too, Lucas. Me too.
Yeah, exactly. The washing windows, and he had to keep. Right. Yeah, he had to keep doing that for like every single day for like 6 hours a day. So, like, it just made me think of that.
Yeah. And have you ever noticed this, Lucas? Have you ever noticed how we keep running into similar challenges in life? The details might change, the locations change, the people change, but the core test is the same. It's almost like we keep repeating these situations until we finally learn the deeper lesson and how to handle it properly. And oftentimes, the deeper lesson is we need to find the best attitude for every situation we find ourselves in.
Yes.
We need to find the best attitude for every circumstance, and then we have transcended it. It's no longer viewed as a problem. It's viewed as a wonderful opportunity, yes. Right? You can have no problems ever again in your life. Once you have the best attitude, you'll see them all as growth opportunities and be grateful.
Exactly. We have to keep growing. Like, we'll run into obstacles, but we have to keep growing. We have to keep evolving as drummers with like courage and bravery and focus and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hero's journey you're all on. You know, it's the call to adventure. And the beautiful thing is it's all like you're like the guild in Lord of the Rings. You all have your different characters and you're all marching forward into Middle Earth to become the best version of yourselves. Absolutely. Right? Like it's really cool what you all have here. You have nothing but my eternal love and respect on it.
Yeah, like it's kind of like what happened. Like Superman's backstory was very tragic, and then he grew up to be the Man of Steel.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of us, whether it's exercise or drumming, sometimes we need a distraction or a release from the frustrations of life until we get the answers. And then eventually we realize that the drumming led us to the people that had the answers all along. It created that path for us to finally self-realize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outstanding. Thanks, Lucas. I want to be respectful to Brendan's time. We're gonna wrap in a sec. Gary, you got a question? Go for it.
Yes, I do. I'm in the autumn of my life. I've been playing drums for 56 years, and it's been the most rewarding part of my life aside from my family. But for me, my life has changed during that cycle of playing the drums. My perspective on it's changed all the time. And now I'm in a place where, the physical doesn't come as easy. Battling injuries all the time. I'm just getting over shoulder surgery. I have to have carpal tunnel surgery. The family's getting old, and there are new things to deal with in life. And I just want to make the comment that the things that I've experienced through my life as a musician and a drummer have helped me keep the right perspective by focusing on the things that, like you're mentioning today, pulling back inside. I got to find a new me to deal with new issues. And so there's always change. And, for me, the center of that, in order to manage the change, has been sitting on the throne and being grateful for being back there. I always come back to that. If I'm totally fused out, I go sit behind the kit and find something inside of me that allows me to go back to where I belong, you know? And I just want to share that point because I am very seasoned. I'm very, I've been doing this a long time, and it's really helped to keep my center in place. And I think that's something that we can all benefit from when we look at it like you do. I've had years of experience. I'm an executive. I've retired, but I was an executive and had tons of training in the kind of things you're talking about, and I completely get it. But I just want to mention that you got to deal with change, and still keep that core. And it's not always easy to do. And for me, drumming has been a tool to help me do that. So as you get older, the pieces come together. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying.
I love it. I love it. So your share is a testimony that in uncertain and changing times, drumming can be a very effective strategy to provide comfort against the challenges of life. And I think that's important to remind ourselves of, is that, drumming can be a lifelong friend and companion.
Absolutely.
And can comfort you in those challenging times, give you that sense of familiarity, that sense of control when life seems out of control. If you got the proper drum kit underneath you and you're banging away, you can probably keep your inner peace, even if the entire planet is breaking apart. And that's one of the beautiful things about this shared hobby and passion that you all have. And I think, in there's also a deeper lesson when I'm coaching older athletes and they start to experience the physical aches and pains and the pain and suffering. We need to redefine suffering and make friends with it as it starts to become more prominent in our life and show up more in our body vehicle. And for me, pain and suffering is my adventure buddy, because pain and suffering has always opened me up to new people, new wisdom, and new directions in my life. So whenever pain and suffering shows up in some way, shape, or form, I don't get down, I don't get discouraged, I get curious. And I think, where is this going to take me? Because the school of hard knocks has always given me invaluable lessons in life.
Yep.
And in many ways, the physical pain of the body vehicle is a prod to remembrance of the true self, because a lot of us have spiritual amnesia, and we really start to identify the physical body as the true self. I was in India last year meeting a number of the different gurus around Rishikesh. And every time I met with them, they want to shoo people away. So they're looking to disqualify you on being ready to have a conversation. And I was consistently asked the same question. They would say, hey, before we can even meet, you need to tell me who and what you think you really are. Now, you could say that my name is Chris Lesso or Gary Miklos, and they'd say, well, that's just a rumor your parents started. That's actually not true self. Go away and we'll chat again. Or you might say I'm a drummer, and they'll be like, yeah, but you existed and you exist when you're not drumming. Go away. You might say you're Canadian or American. They'll be like, that's imaginary man-made stuff. Go away. Right? So I think a lot of these things that might seem a little bit tragic that are happening in the world around us are a prod to a remembrance of the true self and the true nature of reality. And more about that in future. That's a deep topic to get into.
Yep.
Given the time, but I'd say that it's all happening for you. It would be my final message on that one there.
No, I love it. And thanks, Gary, for pointing out new challenges, new you. And it's a constant reinvention every day. And Brandon, I want to honor and thank you for blessing us with your insight, your knowledge.
Oh no, you need to thank Terry Brown for introducing us, man.
And Terry, yeah, I got it exactly. Terry was here, thumbs up, yeah. And I'm just obsessed and fascinated that how we grow our networks. It's like, oh, this awesome person, he knows this person, and just how that grows like a domino effect and transforms your life. So absolutely, yeah, Terry, I got to send you some gratitude. And look, here we are on the podcast. So
and Chris, I gotta let you know, because I know you spend a lot of time talking on the podcast about other people, but I want to take a moment to honor you. You're an extraordinary soul with a heart of gold, and you're doing very important work in this lifetime, helping to benefit those who are suffering, give them a common mission, a community, and everything else to bring each other together, make them stronger, and everything else you're doing. Dom would be very proud.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, Dom Familiar. We and when he right when he was at the end of his life, he said like, the torch is on your generation now. Like take it further than I did. You know, it's like that's what we're doing here. That's the mission. So yeah, thanks.
Well, I think you're proving Dom's opinion of you to be right with the action you're taking in your lifetime here.
That means the world. Thank you. And where can people find you? You have an awesome YouTube channel where your energy attracts your love of animals. Like, talk about that and where people can find you and subscribe to your channel.
Yeah, so I do a number of different things. I teach for the Exercise Therapy Association, exercisetherapyassociation.com, Exercise Therapy Association on Instagram. So it's physical and mental healing that I teach around the world. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I inspire people to be more in love with nature. And it's all about just making friends with wild animals and counterbalancing the negativity on social media with stuff that brings a smile to your face or inspires you to live with a more loving heart or whatever it is. So Brendan J. Fox on YouTube and on Instagram and everything else. But I'm here to be friends with everybody. So forever. So just reach out and let's connect more than anything.
Absolutely. Let's have Brendan on again. And thank you so much. Like, health and drumming, wellness, what's in our hearts, how we take on this challenge and become our best selves through drumming. You've helped us become that. So thank you, Brendan. It's an honor to know you and be on this.
All right, let's do friends forever on 3. Fist bump, then we're out. Everybody has to do it.
Let's do it.
Everybody has to do it. You ready?
1, 2, 3.
Friends forever.
Right on, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Excellent. We'll see you soon, brother. Right on.
Keep
going.